Ho ho ho. We are looking live. Alright, we're going to wait a few minutes before we start the actual episode to allow folks time to get in if they want to. If they don't, then it's fine. Then I'll just talk to myself the entire day. And I'm perfectly okay with that because it'll be there. It's on YouTube. It stays and you can go back and watch it. So who cares? We're going to wait just a few minutes to get started, to get rocking, to get rolling. Hey. Uh-oh. Laggy. Not good. Not good if we're lagging. We do not like that. A little bit behind, maybe. Maybe not too bad. It's catching up. It's just back and forth. I think it just depends if I'm doing stuff on the internet moving a lot or not. I mean, right now we're hanging in there. 58 FPS, 67% CPU on the MacBook Pro, like 4 years old. 3,000 kilobits per second, though. I mean, that keeps you alive on a live stream from when I've done the sports broadcasting stuff. That stays there. We got dogs all over the place out there. Woo woo. Got a live audience. Live audience in the parking lot at the apartment complex. You thought I was going to give the address out, didn't you? Mm-mm. Not today. Not today. To this day. To this day. All right. I think we're just about ready to get rocking and rolling here. Let's see here. No dropped frames. That's always good. That's a good sign. All right, laptop's on the charger. We should be in and ready to go fight win. Murph, you want to be in here, buddy? You want to get on the start like you always do? I'll get you up here. All right? We're going to let the intro go. All right, we're starting it. Let's get this party going. Happy Sunday, everyone. Let's go.
I'm getting out of this. I'm pushing up. Rotate.
Actually, check that. Check that. Almost made the rookie mistake of our audio settings. Wow, it would have been brutal. Input, Yeti stereo microphone. Output, iShow audio capture. See? That's where it could have been a problem. All right, take two. Here we go. Now. We're going live.
I'm getting out of this. I'm pushing up. Rotate.
No, they're rotating back. They're rotating back.
You're gonna go. Just rotate, guys. Just rotate. Give it up. Just give it up.
Guys,
Rotate.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 35 of the Rotation with Zhack. We are back. And when I say we, I think you all know who I'm talking about. Murph, come here. Come here, buddy. Everyone wants to see you. Come here. Can I have a hug? Oh, Murph is back. Thank you. Murph's back, doing good. We got a walk in this morning. I woke up, went on a run, took Murph on a walk, got a coffee and a pup cup for him because that guy right there, he deserves the world. He is what keeps this ship and machine going, rolling, and staying motivated. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this live episode, or if you're watching after the matter of fact. I feel like sometimes it's just easier to record it live because it's there. It's ready to go right away. You can go back and watch it. It stays on the channel. Doesn't matter. But a lot of you guys, you probably have a bone to pick with me. I've been MIA for a while. We're not going to go too far into that. We're not going to waste time talking about me and what's been going on. But let's try and get it out of the way as quick as we can. Number one, Meg and I have bought a house. You guys know we did it back in November, and it's been being built, so we've had more and more stuff going on, meetings. It should be done in July, so that's also going to be a busy month for us moving. Number 2, I switched jobs. I quit the golf course out at Papago. It's kind of a bittersweet feeling because I love that place. It was great. The benefits, the perks, the people, everything was good, but just for the longevity and assisting in my career path and trajectory of what I wanted to see and the free time that was taken away from me, putting in those hours, working extra tournaments, early mornings, long nights there, over, like 50, 60-hour weeks of just stuff not giving me the ability to do things like this. It was the right decision for me. So I dipped out on that. I'm working with my brother now, X-Witness Live X, at my sister-in-law's company. So you say, what is that? What are you doing? I'm installing pet doors. It's lit. I make more money than I did at the golf course. I have more flexibility in schedule. I get 3-day weekends every other week, and then I get every Sunday off other than that. So that means I literally get to actually watch the Call of Duty League live for like the first time ever, because before, when I was working at the golf course, I had to like have it on in the background, muted, couldn't really pay attention to anything. But with me being off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every other week, and then getting Sundays opposite of that, it's great. I get to watch the Call of Duty League live and be able to break stuff down and do whatever I may please with it. It's what I asked for. So the career move for me, transitioning, obviously, maybe it wasn't in the cards. Maybe it wasn't my dreams to be installing pet doors. And it's not the end goal for me. It's not the end all be all. But financially, it allows me and Meg to be in a better spot, take care of Murph a little bit better, have the ability to start a family if we want to, get married, all that good stuff. And then apart from that, it gives me flexibility to pursue the career that I want. It gives me more time to do this stuff. If I'm getting done with my jobs every day at 1 or 2 o'clock, I can come home and record 5 episodes of the podcast a week and edit stuff and do post-production and start to hammer in content and TikToks and everything that finds the algorithm. So it was just the right move for me, and that is my excuse of what I'm giving of why I've not been around. It's been a crazy transition for me, switching over careers, training, trying to focus on that and get settled in so that I can be comfortable, getting away from the golf course, doing stuff with the house, finding time to spend with Meg, and finding balance from doing all that, and then saying, okay, these are the times I can set out to record a podcast, do this and do that. That's all we're going to say. That's all I'm going to touch on for what has been keeping me back and away from this. I got to get better. It's on me. No excuses from here on out. I got to be more consistent. Got to hammer it down, get clips, post everywhere, and keep doing more of this. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Thank you for listening to everything I had to say there. And if you're interested, not interested in me or that story, whatever, that's on the back burner. That is in the past now. We are talking about Call of Duty from here on out. Let's take a vigorous sip of our coffee, and then we're ready to go. So like I said, I've been out of the loop for a while. I haven't had a lot going on, and I have to admit to you guys, I have to be upfront and honest, I've missed a lot of Call of Duty. When we're breaking down this episode, there's some things that I have to be transparent about. I did not watch a single second of the Pro-Am Classic. I just kept up with it on Twitter a little bit, and, I come through on the final day, and I'm like, huh? The New York Subliners did what? What? The New York Subliners won? It's crazy to me. And it speaks volumes of the Call of Duty League. And this is my first blood point and take, is consistency is so hard to come by in the Call of Duty League. In any professional sport, you look at it like when Tom Brady and the Patriots were repeating, back-to-back championships, when LeBron James was doing it with Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors of most recent success, we're going back-to-back. It's hard to do in any sport, in any esport, in any competition, unless you're like Joey Chestnut and you are just monumental levels above everybody else in your competitive aspect of things and whatever you're doing. It is very hard and challenging to repeat because everyone is gunning for a title. Now that comes to the point of, is there an asterisk around the fact that it was a Pro-Am. I know every team was there. Did NYSL win? Yeah, all the top teams were there, and we got to predetermine that going into events. Say, okay, Does this one count? Does it not count? But I think it does, and I think it's a huge step for NYSL to make that roster change, pick up Kismet, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and be able to make that roster work. With Crimsix finally finding someone, Paco being able to make some huge plays, hard carry, do things that he does, and just the kind of presence that he brings around the map and just the talented player that he is. And then, like I said, the talent coming up from the challenger scene, which I don't know why it hasn't been there so long. But the longevity of teams' success and championships is very hard to come by in the Call of Duty League, and we haven't seen too much of it. I'll backtrack all the way because I don't think I ever talked about this, so I got to do my due diligence and tip the LA Gorillas. Because nobody saw them winning Major number 2. They made the losers bracket run probably one of the best ones in history. And of course, Slasher had to be a part of it because when is he not a part of big moments like that? But they did so much on that run. They broke the Search and Destroy win streak record. They just were winning S&D after S&D after S&D to stay alive in their series, stay alive in their matches, go to game 5s, be able to clutch up, ice up, and then just quite frankly dominate in the grand finals against the Atlanta FaZe. It was one to watch. Like, I was fully invested in Major number 2. I watched that, but just never talked about it. But then that brings us back to the first blood point, because LAG looked like a team that we have not seen there. And I'll be the first one to say it. Spart was a menace. And I was like, holy shit, this guy is popping off and doing things around the map that you would not expect from a sub coming in with not a lot of practice and bringing a team to the next level. Then the arguments come in of, well, did he just find the meta with the Volk bringing that out and, you know, no one else was caught up to that point, and they tried to kind of adjust and adapt throughout the tournament when they were getting fried by Spart using that weapon, and then it goes on to get GA'd. It makes you think, what is going on with the consistency in the Call of Duty League? Because now LAG, as we're in the Major 3 qualifiers, they're getting smoked. Gunless comes back onto the team when I was the first one to say, after LAG were performing, on I think Saturday I tweeted, I said, if Spart continues to perform at this level and LAG, you know, make it top 3 or even win this Major, I think Gunless has lost his job. He did momentarily, and then they started to get fried in Major 3, and Gunless comes back. There's just no consistency right now in the Call of Duty League. The top teams are always there. I give you credit. Atlanta FaZe, they're going to compete. They're going to be in the grand finals or somewhere there in the winner's bracket or make the loser's bracket run pretty much every tournament. You know Optic are going to be that good. Even them playing with a sub right now in Pro Loot, they're dominating, and I feel so bad for Ender and what he's had to endure and trying to figure out his health, because it makes it really challenging for the team to be able to adapt, bring someone else in to try and kind of meld into his role, but also change strategies around it. But there is just no consistency as far as teams winning, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing for the Call of Duty League. Because when a team like LAG comes out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, and wins a Major, it's like, holy hell, this league is the most competitive league. This shows you any given team, if they are hot, they are clicking, they are playing their best Call of Duty, they can win any given tournament. But then it also shows, was it a fluke? Because LAG did that, and now they're getting smoked in Major 3 qualifiers. And then apart from that, the third argument comes out of left field saying, well, is it a LAN thing? Is it because they're just a better team on LAN? I do not know. But right now, throughout Major number 3 qualifiers, the only team the LA Gorillas have beaten is Paris, who have just been abysmal for a couple years now, and they just can't figure anything out as an organization, it seems. So I think it's just interesting to show the lack of consistency of teams winning championships, but I think it's a good thing that different teams are succeeding. I know it may seem like I'm contradicting myself there, but we want competitiveness. It's not always fun to watch the same 3 teams every week. Like, we have 6 teams, in my opinion, who can compete, and I would not be surprised in the current state of where they are if they can win a championship. Atlanta FaZe are obviously the top. Then Optic, depending on if they get everything sorted out with Pro Loot, he starts to compete at the highest level, and this team clicks, and Shotzi and Scump can kind of take over. Dashy can do his thing around the map, and Pro Loot can be just good enough. That's 2 right there. NYSL right now with Kismet, I think they are playing at another level, and it's about time they got over the hump because they sucked for a majority of this year, and now they're a contender. Boston Breach are another team who I think if they get hot, if they get their guys, Nero and Cap, clicking, and then Methods and Tej just do what they have to do, that's a team that wouldn't surprise me if they could win a tournament. Boston Breach are good. Minnesota Rokkr are always in the conversation. I'm going to talk about them in a little bit on the episode, but it wouldn't surprise me if they win. And then that final 6 team that we look at, it can be a toss-up between a few different ones. I think the Florida Mutineers, if they click, they can perform really well. If they can have their ancillary players like Dave Patty help Big Wake and Skies, that's a good thing. LA Thieves, possibly, but then they're a team where it's like, what the hell are you doing? You make it to the grand finals against New York Subliners in the Pro-Am Classic, and now you're not even competing in qualifiers. Does that speak to online versus LAN, or is it just another consistency thing? So I think that final team is a toss-up between like Ultra, Florida, and Thieves. Those are the teams that I wouldn't be surprised. And then after the beginning of this year, it's like the London Royal Ravens haven't shown back up. They've had their character flaws and challenges. Paris Legion are never going to be in the tournament. Like they're going to always start in the losers bracket, and they're going to stay there and either finish 12th and get first rounded, get lucky, and then lose to the team that comes down to fight them. Plain and simple. Seattle Surge could make a run, but I really think you have like those top 4 tier 1 teams, and then it's like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if those other ones came out and made a run in a tournament. It just shows how tight-knit the league is and where everyone is on the competition level. That's my first blood take, kind of catching up on what I've missed with the Pro-Am Classic, all the way back to Major 2 where I saw it but just never recorded an episode, and then just giving my take on the consistency of the CDL right now and where it kind of confuses me how we struggle so much after we win a tournament and then we're going to be in the loser's bracket headed into the next one. I don't know. Someone explain it to me, but that's the first blood take. We'll get out of there, and we are going to transition into the Barracks news and notes from around the league because we have a lot to talk about. I think the biggest storyline that's broken out over the past 24 hours is from what's gone on in Twitter. Actually, this entire season, if we backtrack. What the hell happened to Crimsix, man? The guy is picking fights left and right, and he is showing no mercy. He is gunning for everybody. He will roast you. He'll roast your mom. He'll roast your girlfriend. He'll roast your grandfather, your grandmother, your family, your dog. Nobody is safe around this guy, Crimsix, and we're going to pull up the tweets right now. Look at what happened this past week with Crim. May 21st, okay? Let's read the tweets. GG's just played some pro team that wasn't trying to win. Easy money. Donnie Dickface, referring to Temp, still owes me $100. Then Temp gets in on the conversation. LMAO, send your PayPal. I got you. You're fucking dog shit. Will do. P.S. You camp like a dad that works a 9-to-5, family of 4, Bud Light in hand, gaming with his high school buddies from 86. Just saying that Temp, the only reason he has stats on Paris and the only reason he's the good player on Paris is because he just camps, plays for KD, and they never win anything, is basically what Crimsix is inferring in that tweet. Then Don comes to bite back, and Don is another guy who shows no mercy. Like, Don will talk his shit. We've seen it, and I personally think he's obviously been the only thing keeping Paris in check, but that team is in shambles, let's be honest. But he rebuttals and says, I'm a faster AR than you. Your ass and get carried by Paco, aka Hydra, and Paul X. You are fat, you are thick, and it looks like your lip got sore from sucking a lot of glizzy, and your dog is fat. So Temp's coming at Crim6's dog, and then Crim comes back to keep the string going and says, The ride back from the office where we play will be quicker than our actual series. That's saying something because I drive like Max Verstappen from F1 on a good day, while also considering I brought the Porsche GT3 RS with me too. Series so fast that we got paid at the same hourly rate as a heart surgeon for playing Call of Duty. Then Don goes with a lot of laughs. He says, I'm going to piss on that Porsche next time I see it. Fat rat. GG's formally fat fuck from Crimsix to end it. The beef here is incredible. And a lot of guys will give flack to Crim and say, oh, come on, man. What are you doing going after Don for something like that? It's ridiculous, yada, yada, yada. I personally think that Call of Duty as an esport needs more storylines like this. Crimsix is a figure that is starting shit, plain and simple, and I love to see it because it builds the storylines that we want to see. The Call of Duty community, we know how toxic it can be, but it can also go wild like stuff like this. Because then the next time, if Don gets traded to a different team next year or Paris ever become anything, which I don't think they will in the near future, then that storyline is there next time they compete. There's not a lot of opportunity in the Call of Duty League like we have in traditional sports to form big rivalries. Because in traditional sports, the biggest thing that happens there is you form divisions. And then you meet each other in the playoffs, and it brings even further rivalry to it. You look at conferences in the NFL to start off, like the Kansas City Chiefs have that rivalry with the Buffalo Bills when they get to the AFC Championship. And those two teams hate each other, they'll battle against each other, and everybody wants to be watching that game because they know there's so much on the line between those two teams. We don't get that in the Call of Duty League. Like, what are we going to say? Like, oh, FaZe is a big brand and Optic is a big brand. Or LA Thieves are a big brand, so that has to be a rivalry because they produce a lot of content. There's not a lot of true shit that goes on between those two teams to force a rivalry. So this is the stuff we need. We need characters creating their own storylines, and that's what Crimsix has been doing. He's been coming for people's heads. If he starts talking smack about the right person, saying something about simp on Atlanta FaZe, and then somehow NYSL make it to a grand final against FaZe, that's going to spark some fireworks and get people interested. Everyone always is first there to talk smack about the Call of Duty League's viewership, saying, oh yeah, well, they only get views when Optic plays. This is something that would help that. Crimsix personality is here to help the CDL. If he goes and brings stuff out, then NYSL matches are going to start to get 70,000 concurrent views on the live streams. It's just helpful. A lot of people don't like what Crimsix is doing and how he's coming at people, but I think being transparent, being honest, speaking your talking your shit, whatever you want to call it, is good for the league because it creates those compelling storylines and it'll make people want to tune in to just be in chat. Call of Duty League fans love to be toxic in chat. That's their worst trait. But also, guess what? If they're being toxic in chat, that means they are there watching the matches, getting views to the CDL. So if Crimsix says something about the opponent for that week and he loses, people are going to be in the chat. You lost, you lost, you lost. You were talking all this smack, you lost. It's good for the brand. It's good for the Call of Duty League, in my opinion, for those guys to go at it. Temp will look to get his revenge. I don't know if it's going to happen because Paris is just flat out bad. But speaking of a revenge tour, it's time to talk about one of my favorite teams, one of my favorite players who I've been talking about for years, and now you guys are all finally starting to catch up, and I am willing to say that I was the first one there to plant my flag, and you guys can all say thank you to me. We're talking about not only the Minnesota Rokkr and what they've been able to do lately, but we are talking about Colt Havok McClendon. The kid is an absolute beast, and talking about revenge tours, he got his revenge. The Minnesota Rokkr faced up against Havok's old team, the Florida Mutineers, and it was a bloodbath, to say the least. 3-1, Minnesota Rokkr take that. And let me go ahead and reel it back for a second and backtrack to tie all these points together here. I don't know how Havok was not on a Call of Duty League pro team to start this season. And then everybody gave him the crap when he denied the offer from NYSL, because I don't want to play without Kismet on this team. I think this team is in shambles. It's bad vibes. I don't think that I'm going to be able to fit in well with what you guys have going on if you don't get a role swap, if you don't get another AR. I just think the vibes are bad. I'm going to continue to keep my head down, grinding challengers, and when a better opportunity comes, I will take it. Smart business decision from Havok. Like I said, I have no idea how he wasn't in the league from the beginning of this year, but that was the best thing that he has ever done, is make that business decision to not get on a team if he didn't think it was going to succeed. Finally, Minnesota Rokkr make the change, and I think it was one that could be questioned because Major Maniac, like, he is the backbone of that team. He's a leader. He's always going to fry, and when push comes to shove, when the big bright lights are on, championship setting on LAN, he will come to show up. Saint and the guys over at Rokkr, they thought it was time to make a roster change. They did some trials, and they thought that Major Maniac was the one to go. I think no matter who it was that they dropped, Havok had to be the one to be picked up. He has been running amok in the challenger scene all year long. I can't believe how other kids new to the Call of Duty scene had been accusing Havok of cheating and hacking. I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? This guy has been frying since Jetpack CoD. He's been one of the best players, probably one of the best in the SND scene that I've ever seen. Him and Kismet had been playing 2v2 SND wagers for years and years, winning crowns on MLG, winning championships, like CMG tournaments, no matter what it was. He has been in the scene. He has been dominating. He's not a hacker. I couldn't believe that. I was beside myself when I heard that. But Havok comes straight into the Call of Duty League and makes a difference on this Minnesota Rokkr team. You look at him already, I know it's early and he's only had a few matches, but he is among the top 10 in the Call of Duty League. When we look at the stats, courtesy of BreakingPoint.gg, Havok has a 1.11 overall already. Just been playing throughout Major 3 qualifiers, and he is making his presence known. I think the biggest thing that checks out to me from Havok is that he has always been relied on for his intangibles and in Search and Destroy particularly. We know that he is always going to perform and excel. He just has the brightest mind when it comes to Search and Destroy. He makes the right plays. He always is there for a first blood. I think he has like 34% first blood through these first few weeks with Rokkr. And that's somewhere that we knew it was going to be consistent. We knew that Havok was going to excel, but then it came down to what will he do in respawns. We know that he's always been the route man, but will he be able to pick up with the slaying and help Rokkr improve on their hardpoint and control? The answer has simply been yes. He's pulled out a 1.05 when it comes to hardpoint. That's success for him. It's something that we've seen him struggle with. He'll run the routes, he'll get the big breaks and hills, but if he didn't do that and he got killed on rotations, then his team wasn't winning hardpoints, plain and simple. Now he's beginning to slay. He's been getting to step up, pop off, and make his presence known. Him and Attach are hand in hand right now when it comes to control KD as well. A 1.2 for Attach and a 1.19 for Havok. So he is showing that he's been able to adjust his gameplay, and Vanguard is his game, plain and simple. I think that this roster change has been huge for the Minnesota Rokkr, and it will attribute to more and more success for them, and I'm pissed off that you guys have been sleeping on Havok. He's been one of my favorite players since I started tuning into Call of Duty when he came up. I've been watching Call of Duty since like Black Ops 2, and I've started to hear of Havok since like Jetpacks. Like BO3 is really when... Actually, I would check that and say back to Advanced Warfare is when he came on my radar. I've loved him ever since as a player, personality, love the streams. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I've always been a fan, and I'm here to have your back. Always have and always will. When I step away from Havok as an individual and I talk about the Minnesota Rokkr, I have to think, and let's talk to Gary V about this. How the hell does everybody always doubt this team? How does everybody put Minnesota Rokkr on the back burner every year? You know they're going to be there. You know that Attach is always going to get his. We always proclaim them to be the dark horse, and every year before the season starts in my predictions, I say stop it. Put the Minnesota Rokkr in like the top 4, top 6 right now, because by the end of the season, they will be there. They will be successful. This is a team that feeds off a lot of energy, and they always figure it out. I think it comes and stems from their success in individual game modes being search and destroy, and then they blossom themselves out into different categories. The Minnesota Rokkr, to me, are a team you can compare it to like the Golden State Warriors in basketball. You know that the Golden State Warriors are going to be a three-point shooting team, and that's where they're going to succeed. Then from there, they'll have their nights where they get Draymond Green working in the paint, and they have to shoot mid-range jumpers and play defensive basketball to have success. For those of you that don't follow basketball, I'll get the analogy to the NFL. The Indianapolis Colts, they are always a run-first team, especially now that they have Jonathan Taylor. They're going to pound the football. They're going to find success there. But when they got to branch out, they'll throw the football a little bit. They'll hit Michael Pittman on the outside and find success there. It's the same thing for the Minnesota Rokkr. They establish their search and destroy first, then they figure out how to succeed in hardpoint and where to find their stride and control. If a team is always going to be good at search and destroy and they force a map 5, they're going to have a good winning percentage, be at least 500 as an overall record, because they're always going to win the search to clutch up. I just don't understand how we always doubt the Minnesota Rokkr and how we sleep on their team. It just doesn't make sense to me. You got to stop doing it. You got to shed light on it and just trust this team. They're one of my favorite to watch. I love the players that they have. Obviously, there are so many other good teams out there, but I just don't know how we're doubting this one in particular. These guys and the Boston Breach are the two that come to mind when I talk about that category. One more topic to transition into before I head into the final predictions for the rest of this week and kind of maybe take a glimpse at what's going on next week without giving full predictions, is the fact that we literally have unlimited talent in the challenger scene. It's crazy to me how guys haven't been picked up earlier on in the season from the challenger scene. We saw what Spart was able to do and pretty much single-handedly win his team that he came up to when Gunless got sick a championship. Challengers player, been dominating in the scene. Havok makes an immediate impact on the Minnesota Rokkr when he finally gets brought up. Kismet and Paul X go to NYSL, and those two guys start frying, and they win the Pro-Am. I get it that we don't want to be too quick to make roster changes and sound the alarm when there's problems going on, but maybe we build the rosters a little bit better to begin with and find the guys who are dominating and take a chance on them. Like, as Aches would say, hey, Paris, blow it up. Like, build better around Temp. I know you tried to, but they're just picking up the wrong guys, I guess. I don't know if it's an organizational thing, but they are bad. Like, the Paris Legion, they're just not good at Call of Duty. And I'm not here to, like, just talk trash about people, but the statistics don't lie. They're 2-14 on the season with a 31% map win ratio. To put it to the best, Optic have a 69% map win ratio. They're 16-4, FaZe are 17-5. You flip their records and they still have more wins than Paris Legion. Toronto Ultra have struggled this season. I think they're another team that could switch something up and pick somebody out of the challenger scene, because like I said, there's plenty of talent there, plenty of guys who deserve to be brought back up. I think I don't want to say we keep recycling guys who have just been there in the league and bring them back up, because there are definitely guys who deserve a shot. Like, I think Clayster can still make a difference on a team, and he should probably be brought somewhere for some veteran leadership and prowess to make a team exceed. But there's just a lot of talent in the challenger scene, and I don't think that everyone's been tapped into who needs to. And I think that this is somewhere where it's tough, because in the Call of Duty League, we always talk about expansion. But right now, the bottom, like, 2 or 3 teams, they suck. And there's just such a gap between them, and they're just never going to be in the mix for things. So I want it to expand to 16 because I think then the structure of the Call of Duty League could just be way better if we expand. If we get to 16 teams in the CDL, then we can go to old like MLG days where tournaments, instead of saying, hey, you start in the losers bracket, you lose once, your tournament's done for the weekend, sucks to suck. When we get 16, we can have 4 different pools, maybe do a random pool draw or base it on your standing statistic. Put like top team, top team, top team, top team. Then a mid team, mid team, mid team, mid team, low team, low team, low team, low team to round out the 16 of the 4 in each 4 pools. That way everything's even. You do it like the old days. Top 2 advance, you go on, and then we find ourselves in the bracket. So structurally, 16 teams in the CDL, it works better for me, but we got to be able to put the right rosters together to make them succeed. I think there's plenty of opportunity to do it because the challenger scene is great. You look at everyone who's come up in the recent years, we got to find more. Standy, Havok, Kismet, Paul X, Dave Patty this year has been playing real well. Skies and Awakening been in the scene for a while, but I mean, all the way back to Shotzi, not even coming from the challenger scene, coming from Halo and being a multi-gamer champion. There's plenty of ways to compile a good roster and get things going. I think we got to tap into it and see more. Let's see where we're rolling at time real quick. All right, we're not doing too bad here. 35 minutes deep, and let's get on over to our predictions for the remainder of the CDL week here. So I choked big time, and I forgot to make predictions for last Sunday. Oh, no, sorry, that's this Sunday. That's today. Where did I forget to make predictions? I got them there in week 1. Week 2, right here, the first day, I forgot to make predictions, and it cost me because I would have taken here Breach, Rokkr, and Florida. And that would have been a 3 for 3. And right now, man, I would have had at least, let's see, 2, 4, 6 points, call it. We'd be at 13 right now. Probably go perfect again today. That would be good. That would be a good week. I'm kicking myself in the foot, but let's get into the rest of these. Today, Paris Legion, I've talked about them. They're just not good. When you look at Sunday here, matches starting in an hour, it's going to be LA Gorillas. They're going to win it. I think it's going to be tight because I don't think either of these teams are incredible. So I think that, you know, Paris will put up a fight. Temp will probably pop off, have a positive KD in the series. I'll probably see it going 5, but I just think that LA Gorillas, they get it done. They win 3-2. Despite Optic being really successful with a sub, and I can stop and touch on that here for a second. ProLoot, tip to you, man. Shout out to you for being able to fill into Ender's role and kind of taking over for Illy, but I feel really bad for that kid because Illy is probably one of the most passionate players in the Call of Duty League, and he's having to take a back seat right now due to an injury. It is really tough to see, and I just want to see him back in gameplay. No hate to ProLoot because, you know, I think he's stepping up big, and Optic have picked up a few huge wins in this stage so far, but he'll just help them get back. I mean, I think competing against a team like FaZe, Celium is just the best in the game right now, and we'll get to that later. Hey, nudge, nudge. I might have just blown it. But Celium is just, he's freaking dominant. I love the kid as a player. He does things that I don't see anybody else do. I love how he plays with the automaton in his hands and the things he can do, the sight lines and the lanes that he can cover and play, but he can also play at a different pace than anybody else. I don't see Optic finding more than a map against FaZe here just from how good they've been playing. But then again, we got to see what server they get on, what happens, and all that good stuff. Finally, I think we have a banger of a match, probably the match of the day, series of the day between New York and Toronto. I think New York clutch up and win it 3-2. Paul X will probably... I'll give it to Paco. Paco will be the MVP of the series, but Kiz and Paul X will both do their thing and be up there, and then Crim will kind of just ride on their back and be like, hey, thanks, guys, good win. And it'll be a nice little 3-2 for the New York subliners. So we look at that. We can look forward to week 3 real quick, and I'll pick out a couple matchups before we get out of here. I don't really care about Toronto-Paris too much. Florida-Seattle doesn't spark anything. This could be a chance for Minnesota to show up. I don't think it happens. I think FaZe are probably too dominant in the respawns. They probably win 3-1 here, just giving up the search. And then other matchups I like here, Boston Breach versus LA Thieves. I think Boston take that The LA Thieves have been weird this year, and I love Boston Breach. I love those guys. Everything they've done, they've been probably the best, like, not expansion team, but new organization to come in and take over after buying one out. I love their branding. Their social media presence is immaculate. They got the memes like crazy, and they have the personalities. They put together a good team. They gave Methods a shot. They got some young guns out there, and they're able to build very well around that. Like, their TikTok pops off. I love the Boston Breach on TikTok. Shout out to them. Give them a follow. They put some entertaining stuff out there. You get a behind-the-scenes look of the squad. And yeah, I love those guys. Got to get that team pack immediately. But I think they beat LA Thieves here. This could be a storyline too, depending if Illy gets back. I know he's seeing a doctor for X-ray MRI, Scump said on the most recent Optic podcast. I think either way, that's a good series. If Prolude is there, I think Optic can still seal that one from NYSL, maybe in a 5-map series. And if Illy is back, it'll be good to get his feet wet again and competing. So I think those are probably the highlight matches. I don't see this being too competitive between Optic and LA Thieves on Sunday. I don't know if you guys can see that with my camera probably in the way there. But those guys play they play Sunday, May 29th, the following week. But those are the matches we kind of outlined for today. I don't think there's too much to touch on further than the fact that I promise you it's going to be LAG, Atlanta, and then New York. I mean, come on. Easiest pick'ems of your life. Hold me to it if I get them wrong. Please do. Please come at me and tell me I got them wrong and did an awful job. Man, it's been a good episode. We've gotten caught back up. Like I said, we're going to get back out here. We're going to be more consistent. But before we head out, we have one more thing to touch on. You guys already know what it is. Scumpy, help me transition into it, brother. I already chalked it and blew it by giving this one away when I was talking earlier through the predictions. But who is the best in the game? Right now, it is pretty plain and simple. He has been the best in the game all season long. And I don't always like to be a guy that just reads off stats because anybody can do that. Anybody can sound intelligent by reading off stats and not actually see what's going on. But let's go ahead and just do that real quick for Celium because he is the best player in the game right now. Here you go. 1.23 overall KD, 1.27 KD in hardpoint, 1.31 in SND, and a 1.14 in control. It gets better than that. This guy dominates with 62 seconds in the hill and hardpoint, 3,100 damage average in hardpoint per 10 minutes. That's insane. He's doing 3,100 in hardpoint, 2,100 in control, and then SND, you don't even need to talk about damage. You just need to talk about how many intangibles this guy brings in SND. He's not the one to get the first bloods. That's a Beezy and Simps job. But he is on the map everywhere, calling out. You look at him almost every time in SND, he has full streaks, and it's like, well, Celium's done it again. He just dominates. He plays the right routes. He has spots and lanes that you don't even see people cover, and you can isolate him. You can put him on an island in a map and trust him to dominate and hold that one side. Like, a team could 4-hit that. He could pick up a first blood, get out and dodge, and just change the whole round and turn it on its head by doing that. Celium is the best in the game. I love watching him. He's been incredible all season long. I don't think anybody tops him. He's probably the MVP of the year all in all, depending on what they do at Champs and through the rest of the majors. But Celium has been incredible, and it is what it is. He's the best in the game right now. You can't dispute it. If you do, let's fight, all right? Not really. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. But I hope you guys have been having fun with the Vanguard season. That's the last thing I'll say. Let's not have nostalgia hit us. Every year we say, oh, this game sucks, and then go to the next title and we say, oh, man, last year was lit. I have had so much fun playing Vanguard. I'm probably going to hop on ranked play right now and keep climbing because I think it's a great game. I think that the gunfights are fun. I think the weapons are good. I think the maps are pretty good too and what we've been brought to. So we're not going to bash the game because I have been enjoying this CoD. Like, it has been probably one of my favorites in the recent years. So I love Vanguard. I can tell you Celium loves Vanguard because this guy's the best in the game. Everybody have a great CDL Sunday, and we'll see you again next week. We are back on the horse. Thank you all for tuning in to episode number 35 of the Rotation with Zhack. Hit me up on Twitter, Zhack16, all social media. It is good to be back. We're going to be more consistent from here on out. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.